Another day,
And
another successful
there
operation.
was 7 aliens on a crashed UFO. It's supposed to like the second crashed UFO I've gone into. And I lost a single person. But I mean, here we get to the end mission screen and we get to see a little bit of how different it looks. Because I mean, like I said, the combat's a lot different to begin with. It's more like the original XCOM. But here's where it really starts to look different. See, you've got, they're listed as PFC, and, you know, specialists, and see, when you get them, because all these guys were were privates, and now they're up to specialists, and it looks a little different, you know, they're not assigned to class anymore. You can see he's got weapon class assigned weapons. And like when you get weapons assigned, you can choose a skill. You got, for weapons you got fire rocket and you got suppression. And then you got random subclass. And that does bring up a thing that is something I didn't mention earlier when I said to change the game. There is no longer just your 4 classes that you're used to. You know, there's Assault. Assault is the only one that stays in name, and it's kind of different. There's now 8 classes that they formed, and each one, and when you get a new guy gets leveled, starts a new class, he gets to choose between 2, or you can choose random, which will include one of the ones that aren't available. And we'll give him a big gun, so he'll get suppression, which will turn him into a gunner and give him the heavy weapon, as well as a suppression ability. And see, that makes him a little bit like the heavy. However, he doesn't carry a rocket launcher like the normal heavy in XCOM, and he'll get different abilities because his entire ability tree is different now, and he has an entirely different. His class has an ability tree that's set up with the 8 classes, and it's very different from the default classes. And you can see over here you got some of the differences and some of the other differences. Like will and aim are pretty similar. Health is measured a little differently. And see, here's his armor vest, only gives him +1 health. But you also have a mobility stat, which tells you how good at moving around he is. And 10 + 3 I think is pretty good. And then you can see XP to measure how close he is to leveling. Then here's another thing they added in. Fatigued. And so you can put him back into a mission in the next 4 days, but he'll take big penalties when he's fighting. And so instead, if you let him rest for 4 days, he'll be a lot better. And see, they're wounded and they're fatigued. And see, here's a support one. And support has their 2 options are field medic, which gives you the 3 med kits and restorative kits per battle, similar to that, and Grenadier, which basically gives you 2 grenades and lets them throw further. Which, as I said, some guys can barely throw a grenade beyond the explosion radius of the grenade, so that's not a very good choice for them. But some people who can throw really grenades really far, this 20% is a huge increase. And you can see here she's got a mobility of 2 + 3, and different armors give you decrease your mobility bonus of the 3 here. But see, this armor gives her +2 health on top of her 5. And I need more medics, so she's gonna get field medic, which turns her into a medic. And the other thing I should point out is all of the 8 classes have a different color assigned to them. And then, you know, all the starting guys are red. And so see, here's another person, and we'll make her a Grenadier because I need another Grenadier. And see, that's got green armor now. And support, gunner, Grenadier, and here, tactical, there's the other one. And see, I can pick run a gun, which will turn her to something similar to like the assault from core XCOM, or I can click this one, which turns them into an infantry, which personally I think is a really fun class. And you can see, look at some of the things I got. I got just some sectoid corpses, mostly because I used a lot of grenades in this mission. But I don't, it seems like very few alloys or elements. But one of the things the mod does do is it decreases it doesn't really change how many you need for things to do things. It just doesn't throw extra zeros on there or arbitrarily increase the numbers. So 6 alloys can go pretty far in the beginning. Not so much toward the end, but 6 alloys can make you several items. And 4 meld is pretty decent in this from what I can tell. And then here's some of the other changes. You can look right here, you notice that you've got 2 bars for the countries, and so you don't lose until you lose all countries. And you can see I've lost 1, Egypt, and you're basically guaranteed to lose 1 the first month. The other thing you can notice is how many fighters I have here, or interceptors, in North America, where I am. And the other thing I feel to point out is, you'll notice I'm getting money from basically every country, but the one that has a satellite I'm getting a lot more money
I'm
from.
receiving you. We'll monitor that contact, but I don't think it's related to the
That's kind of what satellites do. Every country gives you money, but it increases a lot and reduces panic. You can see it's got nothing panic, while some of these have a full bar or a partial bar. And that is the difference between things before. You can see, more money, but you also spend more.
Satellite uplink facilities at maximum
like
capacity.
I said, it's pretty early on.
Additional
I'm still waiting for my
uplink
second
required.
satellite uplink to be built because it's like I said, it's kind of like playing on classic and normal XCOM, so things build kind of slowly. The other thing is a big change is you can sell just about anything, like even various pieces of equipment, which includes like this one, which is a new one from the mod that I use. It's for shivs and mech troopers.
Nothing to report at the moment. Boards are clear.
And then you got all your requests, and right now, people just want satellites. So as I've said, the other thing that's kind of changed is, you can have 6 interceptors in each place, and you need a lot of them because they really don't hold up compared to UFOs, and compared to normal game. So, just to bring down this one UFO, the smallest one, it took me 3 fighters. And some of the big ones are already showing up, and they can just destroy
Commander,
the fighters.
We've suffered a number of casualties and haven't found
I have
suitable
suffered some
replacements yet.
casualties already.
We need to start hiring additional soldiers through the
And
barracks.
You can see I lost 2 on one on the last mission, and another one, and I lost them to drones and other things that you wouldn't expect this early. But here's, you can see all sorts of stats here. You've got health, movement, will, aim, defense, and you can see a lot of my guys are fatigued at the moment because I've had a couple missions back to back. And then you can also see their class. I've got infantry, snipers. There's 8, and I don't know if I have all of them at the moment, but you can see infantry, sniper, scout, engineer, gunner, medic, assault. I don't remember. There might be one more. But even by default with the mod, you've got randomized starting stats, and so you can see some of them have really good stats and some of them don't. And you can see my shivs even damaged at the moment, and they do have loadouts, like you can give them things now. See here, you've got the autoloader now. But there's various other things that are changed, like you start out with 2 slots available for items on your average guy, and like I said, you got the tacked armor, which looks like your normal XCOM armor, and you got tacked vest, which looks like a gene mod, and your basic weapons are all look like they're the Exalt ones, for the most part, with the exception of the shotgun. And then they've added some other items like Alien Trophy, which gives you, this is kind of awesome, You basically never panic. Then you can get battle scanners and random guys. You got your ceramic plating here, which is like a weaker nanoweave, and you can see you got You got a lot of your grenades to start out. You've got there's, as I said before, they're kind of changed. And then like high capacity mags, you can make it so you don't have to reload all that often. And then you've got laser sight here, which is kind of like a weaker scope, but you can have from the start. And med kits are all available from the start, as well as multiple rockets. I don't want him to panic because he's kind of helping protect me. And you can see, there we go, abilities. You can see he's got 3 choices, and if you pick squad sight, it turns him into a sniper. And then on top of that, you can pick low profile when he's lance corporal, or gunslinger, or damn good ground. And it's sort of like that with all of them. Like here's an infantry, and you can see I picked light him up, which lets him shoot turn twice each turn, which is kind of that's a skill that turns him into infantryman, but I could also turn him into assault or random. And then I chose covering fire on top of that, so he can do reaction shots. And he could have taken executioner or with this ability, which lets him never get panic of allies getting wounded or killed, and also would give him +5 will on top of that. And that's another slight tweak, is some of these skills, some of the abilities you can give them will change their stats. Like covering fire gives them +3 aim, and not every single ability will increase someone's stats, but some of them do, some of them don't. I think sniper has some that do. And it's higher tiers. But they've also, a lot of things have changed, and so here's kind of what I can build at the moment. Like I said, I'm really early in the game after failing on a previous campaign, and you know, got a thing for a shiv mechanical unit. I can rebuild a shiv that's been destroyed for less than what it costs to make a new one, and then I can make a satellite in addition to an actual shiv. So, and then you know, your basic building. And you can see I've got some builders, and they've got thermal generator, and it looks pretty similar at this point to start, and it is.
I appreciate your efforts to support the research team, Commander.
Research.
I've already put the new recruits to work in the lab.
See, I've got one, and it's xenobiology, which is kind of like the first. It's not that different from its normal one. You go over here and look at what my research projects are, and you can see things that don't look like that you normally see them. Like, just because this one's talking about meld, it doesn't actually give you the gene mods or mech troopers yet. You know, you start with this, and then further down you might get further down the line you get mech troopers and gene mod soldiers. I think mech troopers are another 4 research beyond this one. And see, the values, you know, as I said, it seems like you don't get very much resources, but all your values are decreased too, like, proportionally, and so you only need, you know, 2, 2, and 5 for this one, and I'll actually research it pretty quickly at 10 days, but you know, even an autopsy is 7 days or 10 days, and this one's 17. Things are long, and I'm actually playing, they say, not too, you know, it's called the Long War mod, and they do have a second wave option, because they do give you some other second wave options that they can change. And if you look at this, you know, we go back here and it says second wave settings, and you can see what I've got on at the moment, and there's all sorts of ones, but I've got not so long war on, and it's a little bit shorter, because trust me, long war, if you play this fault even on normal, it can be very long, and you know, months into the game's quote-unquote time that you can see down here on the bottom. I'm in March, and I'm in 16 days in or so, according to the calendar of the game. You know, you could be months in and you still be doing stuff that you would maybe do in a normal XCOM game in the first month or month and a half. So it can take a while. And just to see, I think I've covered most of the big changes here. So, you know, it's still pretty normal. You go over here, you get your upcoming events, and then you scan and you'll notice. And China wants the satellite now over there.
Satellite uplink
Finish my
complete.
uplink, so now I can actually put more stuff up. And people are being not fatigued, so then they're going back to full active duty. And so it seems like I've got lots of people injured, but mostly they're fatigued, and so they're kind of considered. I can bring them up to active for a penalty, but they're taken off quote unquote active for the time being, and so I get notified when they get back. And there we go, I finished that research, and it gave me the foundry and the scope and weapon generator. And so, you know, this is your normal XCOM scope still. It gives you plus 10 aim, and there's a foundry, and then this is another thing they've added in, and it gives you a bonus, small aim bonus to mechanical units, much like you'd put the scope on a normal guy. And you can see I've already unlocked beams, but I'm not going to get them too quickly at the moment. And it's going to be real slow. And so we'll do alien materials.
I
to see if we
expected
can't
that
get
would
some
be a
better armor.
priority research task, Commander.
But here
I'll
we
begin
go. See, the scope
allocating
is
resources to
pretty
the
cheap,
project
and
immediately.
We'll make one here. And as you'll notice, as I said before, normally you make a scope instantly in XCOM, but it's going to take 7 days in this mod, and you can build it quickly for 4 days if you pay a meld. And so, you know, they've added some things into meld that you can use it for, besides just your Gmod and troopers. But, you know, I don't need a scope that badly, so we'll just build it normal. But you can do that in just about everything. You can go pay meld to increase its rate. And we'll go see if we can't get it in.
Access lift operational.
Let's go see if we can't find a UFO to shoot down to show you how the big change in that. And
We've got a large contact, and it's
yeah,
coming
see,
in fast.
as I said,
we're going
this
to
is
have a
UFO
difficult
number
time keeping
3.
up with this one.
And they said it's large, so let's see. I've got 5 of my 6 things available, and you can even keep track of how many kills I got. And as I said, I shot down the first one and it exploded midair, and then I shot down the second one, and that was when I was finally able to raid. So something tells me I'm probably not going to be able to shoot this one down, so we'll intercept it anyways and see what we can do, and I might not even catch it before it goes too far. Nope,
We
I
haven't
didn't.
scrambled our fighters to intercept the latest UFO contact.
And
Let's
so
hope
they
it doesn't
don't
do any
count me
serious
as having
damage.
even scrambled fighters to get to it. And that is one thing they did tweak, is UFOs can fly a lot faster, and they can be a lot harder to shoot down in general. So let's see what else we can get. And they've added some other small things in. And like, see, here we go. I can sell some weapon fragments just like I would normally. And there we go. Got some more money. It's always helpful. And there we go. 7 days have passed, and I got my scope, and luckily I didn't have any missions for these 7 days, so. And let's get a couple more. Yeah, and like they tweaked a lot of little things, like you can get more requests more quickly. See, I've got a whole bunch of requests. And I think all those are going to be satellites, which I can't really do at the moment. But you can also get lots of requests from items, things that you can do really quickly. And yeah, there we go. Got alien materials, and let's see, what did I get? Alloy plating, heat ammo, and alloy belt. You probably won't recognize any of those. And basically, it's like the nanofiber vest, which that one gives you 2 health. This one, this one could use a different icon, but here, it's basically like a nanofiber vest for mechanized units. And then I got high explosive ammo for mechanized units to damage robotic units. And see, now I can even do analysis on UFOs. And it could help me shoot down the next one here. And it's a really quick research, so we'll just throw that
I
one on.
appreciate your efforts to support the research team, Commander. I've already
And
put the new
look,
recruits
I'll
to
have a
work in the
satellite
lab.
here in a day, right when we get near the end of the month.
Commander, our satellite is prepped and standing by for launch.
So,
We are ready
you know,
to
here
deploy it
come
on your
towards the end of the
orders.
month, everyone who plays XCOM knows you get a council report and they give you money and they say
Incoming transmission.
whatnot.
We are extremely impressed with the progress
Here's
of the
first
XCOM
month.
project
I mean,
thus
I had
far,
one council
Commander.
mission.
Your
I shot down
recent
2
results
UFOs.
were beyond our expectations,
Couple
and that is
things.
not
You know,
a
it's
statement
kind of
this council makes
see,
lightly.
a lot of money, but I also will spend a lot of money
Remember,
here.
we will be watching.
I mean, if you look at my finances, I'm spending 300 of it already, and I don't really have all that much.
From what little I've seen of their technology, if the aliens were intent on conquering Earth, there's not much we could do to stop them.
And let's make a
I'm
foundry.
guessing they have
So I can
something else in mind.
use that. And that is something I will say is they even redid all the foundry projects, and so you can get all sorts of nice little tweaks there. And you know, as I've been saying, it's a pretty big overhaul of XCOM. It doesn't, you know, you can still expect certain scripted event missions and events to happen. There aren't all that many new missions to begin with. There's more missions, and there's more things that can happen. And in fact, much like the original XCOM, when that base assault mission happens, if you have any within, if you lose that, you no longer just lose the game. You know, it's like if you lost a base in the original XCOM. So they took a lot of cues from the original one. And yeah, here's the analysis of that. And this wouldn't be something you get in normal XCOM. And it tells you its durability and its armor, and it just gives you a little bit of thing, and it says, oh, here, you know, we've improved pilot training and weapon systems so we can do more damage to this one. And so now I know how to do more damage to the smallest of the small UFOs.
I appreciate your efforts
And
to support the
as I said,
research team,
This
Commander.
is the second campaign
I've already
after I
put the
failed
new
terribly.
recruits to work in the
So
lab.
you can looking at the tech tree and some of the other stuff I can see from further on in the game, and looking at what people, or in the mod, and what people have written. You know, it continues a certain amount like this, and there are some bigger changes that will come into play later on. Because, as I said, you are going to lose a country in your first month, and the game is set to go to do that. You're going to lose a nation in the first month. However, they did change it so that you can. One of the mission types they did add in lets you liberate countries you've lost, and so I can regain Egypt later on in the game. I'm probably not going to do it anytime soon with my terrible weapons and terrible troops, but you know, you get further on, and I've got some better troops that are higher level and can aim. You know, I might go reclaim Egypt, and then they'll might come back into XCOM project and start giving me money again. So there are some things that do change the game dramatically, and some that don't. And I guess at the moment you could call this a first impression, because, you know, 10 hours into anything in XCOM, most people would say you're kind of just getting an impression. And that's a bit what this is. And so 10 hours in, I recommend this mod. If you're getting kind of bored with XCOM, you want some more life out of the game, you enjoy Dark Souls, or having a really hard challenge, you know, it does make it sort of like you're shooting, as Yahtzee said about Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2, it's kind of like shooting yourself at a castle with a cannon until the castle starts crumbling. And that's exactly what I felt like on that first campaign that I failed. I was shooting my recruits at a castle of aliens until I ended up running out of recruits and losing. So, you know, it's brutal, it's tough, but it's a lot of fun. I'm VCF13 and I recommend this mod.